What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm just getting ready to start my ride for the day. Today is a 4-hour long ride that, despite how beautiful it is outside, I am doing on the trainer on Zwift. And after that ride, I have a 20-minute off the bike run, and this is just to simulate a typical brick, a training brick. Lately, I've really been enjoying these longer rides on the bike and have been approaching them a little bit differently than I approached them last year. So last year, most of my long rides on the bike were basically done at Tempest Fugit in Zwift World, which, if you don't know, that is a extremely flat course with not much variability, not much difficulty, and it really doesn't simulate my race scenario accurately. Those of you who do know, I race Lake Placid mostly in Ironman year to year, and that course is extremely hilly, significant elevation. I want to say it's between 8,000 and 10,000 depending on the course year to year, which is a lot and much more than the 0 or few hundred that Tempest Fugit has to offer. So over the past few weeks, I have been selecting different courses with fairly high elevation gain for various reasons. One, it's more close to the race scenario that I will be seeing. It's much more like the course, and I've been working my way up in terms of course difficulty in Zwift on these longer rides, just to be more accurate, be more similar to what I'm going to see on race day, because the better prepared my body is in that regard, the better the race is going to go, ideally. For the other reason that it really makes these indoor rides much more dynamic. If you're just riding on a flat course, like non-stop for 4 hours straight, it gets pretty boring. There's not much variability. There's no need to really engage in shifting gears or finding more skills, like really just the shifting when going uphill, shifting when going downhill, finding your ideal cadence depending on the power level that you're putting out. There's things that you're not working on if you're just sticking to the same gear for 4 hours and just doing a pure cardio session. So between those reasons, that's why I have been looking for just harder, longer courses on here to accomplish. So what I'm going to be doing today is going through Zwift. I'll find a course that has quite a bit of elevation gain. A little cheat code that I like to do is scroll down to the long hour courses. Lately, now that today's ride is a 4-hour ride, I can start looking at the very bottom of the list. And I look at the difficulty level of the course, which is rated 1 through 5. So far, I think the hardest one that I've just spent time on a Saturday ride has been a 2 or a 3, which had quite a bit of elevation, but the reason why it was 2 or 3 was because it wasn't continuous changing elevation. It was just a mostly flat rolling hill course with a few mountains to do some climbing in. And on those courses, like, my average power for the 4 hours was right where I wanted it to be, just hanging around 140 or so, which featured a lot of zone 2, zone 3, some zone 4, even a little bit of zone 5, depending on how I was feeling and at what point in the ride I was in. Typically putting more effort towards the later stages of the ride. Just the way that I work, it's like a negative split concept, where you put more effort towards the second half of the ride. The first half of the ride is really finding your groove, and figuring out how you're gonna feel by the second half. So that's another race strategy. That's something that takes a little time to develop and figure out, like, how hard can I push the first half and feel comfortable that I'll be able to push at least as hard, if not harder, on the second half. So that's this morning's video. As you can see, my canyon is looking very clean. Not that I've been cleaning it, but I've been very good about wiping it down and making sure that I don't leave any salt residue on it, because this is a new bike with many electronics and higher tech than my previous bike. And if you don't know, and you do a lot of indoor training, if you leave your salty sweat on your bike, then you're just asking to have difficulties down the road, because what that salt will do is find the dissimilar metals that aren't necessarily properly greased, and it'll start to have a battery-like reaction with it, which the end result is rust and brittling of your metals, which makes them harder, more brittle, and more likely to fail. So areas you don't want that to happen in are your brakes, your bottle cages, which apparently is very easy to have happen, and pretty much anything that leads within your bike frame, which is where all the wires and batteries are. So just another side note / side tip for all of you out there who are watching. But I'm gonna get started. I will probably update everybody at the end of the ride, depending on how I feel, and I'll add some clips of me riding in this video too. So I'll catch you in the next segment. If you like this so far, then please subscribe. So about an hour in, 1,000 feet of elevation. And I'm ready to hit a mountain. So.
And sometimes heights to ensure power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Ranger for professional grade products and next day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-RANGER, click Ranger.com, or just stop by. Ranger, for the ones who get it done.
For that first year, probably, it was, what are we going to do today? What are we going to shoot? When, where? Every morning we showed up. There was no plan for the week, plan for the month. Now our team's 6 months, 12 months, I mean, 2 to 3 years out on projects. At that time, it was me, Preston, Nick, and Joe and John involved as well. Sometimes we would drag them in to be part of scenes. Just, what are we going to make today? And then come Trey, and Trey gave a little more type A, a little more strategic, kind of corral our wild ideas. We call it herding tigers. Trey was that, and brought a little bit of stability to it. And hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Brought a little more strategy.
Everyone was doing a lot of riding at a certain time. Each day was different. Each day was different. We have to work on creating over media, but every day something was different.
That's when things started to really start to feel like a real company. It means Trey spent that year traveling, shooting with athletes. We started to sign athletes. We started to launch our first real campaign around building more.
We come in and we do stuff for get social or get the product photos in the whole gym, like real quick. We upload it to the website. 10 minutes later, we plug an SD card in his computer. He would edit something real fast, format the card on his computer. If anyone wonders where our type of business, I'm sure that was 2017. No one knows. I'll edit it on the laptop and go do it all.
So I'm laughing because it looks like we're hitting the volcano column today. And it starts out at, I don't know how long this is, but quite a long looking while of around 8% grade, 7% grade.
Which is still a lot more bad,
Which means this is going to be fun.
than what maybe came off at.
So if this new HQ move didn't feel really boring, it definitely does now, because right behind me are pallets of inventory. For the floor as we are preparing to move them to our new HQ. And a week ago, that was industrial shelving and racks, which has been taken down and moved to our new HQ. And right now, the suite that I'm standing in,
So you'll see me downshifting, and that's not for the power. Honestly, my power is staying pretty close to the same. It was more to get my cadence up.
and in front of me, behind this camera, is where our multiple packing stations.
Power's right around 190, 200. Not bad. Cadence 90.
And now, in less than a month, we will be operating out of 76,000 square feet of warehouse, office, and gym.
And it looks like there'll be
It feels surreal.
a little break halfway up,
It feels surreal to think back 13 years prior,
followed by
when I started BPN out of
another significant
my
climb.
college department in Western Pennsylvania at IUP, studying nutrition on an Army Arts scholarship. And over these last 13 years, we have grown, we have scaled, we have moved into new buildings, occupied more space, and built out a team, and hired more employees. And the brand has actually evolved. But this is going to be a new chapter, truly a new chapter. And closing the previous chapter, the chapter that occupied and took over this space, is bittersweet. It truly is. But it's real right now. It feels real to walk into this warehouse and see the pallets on the ground, the industrial shelves and racking taken down and reinstalled elsewhere at our new spot. It's surreal. It's real. It's happening. We did it.
This is the way you brings up some things with me. And one of those reflections is a moment in time. I think our life is marked by these moments in time where you've been sprinting and moving. Honestly, the working so hard. It's kind of making me stop.
On the slightly easier
It's
portion,
overwhelming to try to put into visuals, put into words.
attempt to get the heart rate down.
Kind of transpired over the last 5 years. All the office moves, all of the different places that our desk has sat. I think about, the first day you meet Trey and Nick had up on the floor in one of these rooms planning a shoot, and that was like our media room. It was like a carpet with one shelf. Yeah, it's a moment for reflection. This college just feels so grateful, so overwhelmed.
Not many people can see what it takes to grow and scale a business. I always wondered, would I regret dropping out of college and moving down here, and not for one moment. I further that. That's something in education can never fix. So it makes me feel great when I look at that, and I'm proud of our team. Everything we do, even from a business perspective, getting bootstrapped is all the because there's still so much to do at this time. But the actual work that you put in for the last 15 years, I've only seen 5 years, I would have been imagining 13, but the 5 that I've had the privilege to be a part of, like, is huge.
I think that with fear, it was like making me always a person who's willing to take risks, make the shots, and like, you know, like you don't hit that next level if you don't take the shot. So I think a lot of times like stuff that you would say might sound a little bit like, wow, that's wild. But that's how we've got to that shooting at that next level. You're not going to get there just by saying.
When you spend time as an employee, part of BPN is bigger than a company. It's truly, I would say, a family. I think when I think about the last 5 years, the projects we've worked on, things that we put out,
Major climb. Now overall, this really was not that of a mountain.
I'm just so freaking grateful.
I think I'm
that I get to lead them, I get to serve them.
much more fit than
His leadership.
last year.
Grateful to be a part of the company.
This is
to stick to it.
relatively hard effort, and
Our integrity at all.
I
That's a special place to be.
don't have too much of an issue
Because
holding this for whatever extended period of time. Now, so far on this mountain, we're 6 minutes in from the official start of it. This climb seems a little longer, but overall, not too bad. That being said, I am in my zone 4 right now, so take whatever I'm saying with a grain of salt. Probably just showing off a little bit.
The worst.
like the RDC, we do that as a family meeting. And I think it makes me more emotional because I've also seen other people walk through the worst in their lives too.
They're still here.
And now we have an official estimate.
They're still standing.
Looks like I'll finish
You know, I don't think you could have an accident.
I just, for me, it's
this climb in about 12 minutes total. So 7.5 in.
help them build this business and just see all the
Not bad.
they've gone through in their life, from that, but also their mom, and just seeing them become parents. And that's like really what it is. It's not people getting better. And so I'm sure it'll get me at some point, but I'm just excited for it. And I'm also excited just to get all the other people that are part of it.
Just to humble me a little bit, it seems like the first place finish on this is 8 minutes and 10 seconds. So I have 4 minutes to go. Meanwhile, it looks like some people can finish in like 60% of the time as I can.
We can get much closer together. And when I first did it the first time, something clicked. It resonated with me so strong. If I think back when I first got started, it was just me. Those first couple of years, it was just me. And I could operate at one speed. And that one speed was dictated and controlled based off of my experience, what I knew, what I didn't know, and my bandwidth at the time. And a few years ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with Ben Francis, who is the founder and CEO of Triathlon. And he told me that there are 3 things that lead to and contribute to the success of an organization. That is brand, that is product, and that is people. You need to have a great brand, you need to have an excellent product, and you need the right people. The only reason we are in the position we are today, the only reason we were able to be able to engage here The only reason we are doing what we're doing is because of those three things: brand, product, and people. I believe so much in people. I believe respect and appreciate the people who
2 minutes to go.
work for BPN, who contribute to this mission, who have shown up day after day through thick and thin, through the great times and the hard times. They're very loyal, they're very supportive, they're very hardworking. I'm so grateful for people that are a part of the team. And we couldn't be doing what we're doing without them three things. They are all equally just as important.
We have a foundation, we have goals. Nick does a great job at outlining those. So we know what the next chapter could and should look like to do all the jobs. And it's not going to be easy, but
Still in zone 4,
the athletes,
touching zone 5. Towards the top.
to the employees that we're surrounded by every day, we are all too aligned, too motivated to let this be done.
But being totally honest, moving is a computer. Absolutely scary. I think
9%
as a company
good.
grows, it's exciting, it's fun. There comes with more responsibility, because ultimately, being a company that is so focused on quantitative numbers, we feel the responsibility of, oh, now this HP represents more people that we are serving, more employees that their livelihood is here, and has part of being invested into it. So that I know is absolutely scary. It's hard to want to get back to that 4,000 office with 4 people.
11:38. Just finished that mountain.
Trying to do great things in the world comes with responsibility. Comes with a burden that is like so intense.
Naturally followed by easier downhill. Definitely not an easy ride. What's up, guys? Just finished the course somehow. The estimated time on the Zwift library was like 3.5 hours plus, and I finished it in 2 hours and 22 minutes. So significantly faster. At 2,350 feet of elevation. Yeah, really good. Now I'll just stay on this course for the next about hour and a half, because I have to finish my 4 hours now. So I'll check in with you then, and then we'll get going on the run. Alright guys, just finished up the ride. 72 miles and a ton of elevation. I'm about to go for the run. Goal here is to minimize the amount of time before I get out there and start running. So, wish me luck. Alright, we finished up the run just now. I did a nice walk out after the 2 miles, just so that I don't tighten up, and I'll give myself a minute and then do a full workout breakdown. I was gonna say wake out broke down, but definitely a tough day. I put in a lot more effort than I probably would have normally, and the main reason for that is this upcoming week is a deload week. So I have another semi-long ride tomorrow. Yeah, I'll link up with you guys in a few and give you guys a workout breakdown. All right, we're back, and I just finished up getting clean, feeling a little bit more like a human again. And this brings me to just a quick pro tip. This has nothing to do with the topic of the video, if there is a single string of a topic. But what I like to do after getting through a high volume day, especially when I know that I'm sweating a lot, like today, honestly, there was a ridiculously sized puddle underneath my bike. Kind of gross. I had a towel under there, and the towel wasn't even enough to soak up how much I was sweating, which one contributed to fatigue. It's hot outside, I don't have an AC installed yet, and I was sweating a lot. And so I know what to do when I'm training and I'm sweating more than usual. I increase my fluid consumption, but when you really get going and you really get sweating, it's really hard to, if not impossible, drink enough where you're making up for the water that you're sweating out without increasing the need to potentially have to use the bathroom during your workout. So it's a fine line, it's a fine balance. But anyway, so when I get back from these long workouts, especially when I know that I sweat a lot more than usual, I like to weigh myself. And believe it or not, like, I already put down, and by put down, obviously, I mean drank 3 additional full shaker bottles of water and electrolytes before weighing myself. And then I weighed myself, and I was about 3 pounds under my pre-workout weight, which, if you know anything about training, it's like I didn't lose 3 pounds. What I did was I lost 3 pounds of water. And again, after drinking 3 of them, so I probably lost like 6 or 7 pounds of water today. And the goal that should be everybody's goal, when you lose that much water, as soon as you possibly can, you need to rehydrate. You need to get that water back in you. You need to get that water with the necessary minerals back in you. So I use electrolytes, obviously. And that's extremely important. If you don't, you'll sabotage your recovery. You'll be in a pretty bad mood and tired for the whole rest of the day, which you'll likely be pretty tired for the rest of the day anyway because of this insane effort that you just put in. But you'll be even more tired. And when you go to sleep and you wake up the next day, you're going to be much less recovered. So just wanted to touch on that before moving into the actual stats of this workout and how they differ from previous workouts. Typically, when you increase elevation in a workout as much as we increased today, your speed takes a massive hit. And this is why it's important to choose your training or train similar to the race that you're training for. It's why endurance runners will frequent the stair climbers if they live in coastal regions and can't get proper mountain elevation. It's why people will sleep or train with oxygen deprivation masks to simulate altitude training. And it's why these trainers are made in the first place. For those of us who maybe don't have the time, the freedom, the geographical availability to get good elevation training in, hills is what I'm talking about, near where they live. So I didn't take a massive speed hit today, and I am pretty happy about it. I did, however, at hour 3 get a substantial energy hit, and this is likely due to the amount that I was sweating and the amount of calories that I was burning. And for perspective, I was burning approximately 500 calories per hour. So 4 hours, I burnt around 2,000 calories in this workout total. So right now I'm at an extreme calorie deficit and trying to make up for that now with a very high carb, high protein shake that has, bananas, blueberries, protein powder, almond milk, chia seeds, you name it, it's in there. So that's one thing. But this is an important topic for you all to address and understand. It's with increased sweat and activity and exertion, you kind of enter a negative spiral, so to speak, where the more you dehydrate yourself, the harder your heart is working to put out a similar effort, the more calories you burn for the same effort, and obviously the more tired you get, which makes it feel like you're working harder, which brings your heart rate even higher, makes you sweat more, so you're more dehydrated. And if you don't catch that, then you're really in for it. And if you don't get those training days in where you have to deal with that, then you're really asking for it. So really, there's so many variables that you're gonna have to reconcile when you're looking at training for a race of this distance. And hopefully this isn't too much, and hopefully my brain isn't just dumping any bit of information it can at you, because obviously I'm exhausted. But we'll wrap this up with the idea that if you want to perform, your nutrition, your hydration, and your mineral management, I'll say, has to be on point. And if it's not, then you're doing an extreme disservice to the effort that you're putting in. A lot of people think that, it's enough to just get the workout in, get the workout done, and give it your best. But what a lot of people don't realize is that you're physically unable to give it your best if you're not taking care of that side of the coin. And there's arguably 3 pillars of training. It's nutrition, your actual training, workouts, and then recovery. And they feed into each other like a lot. So don't ignore the nutritional pillar. Don't ignore how important it is to keep an eye on and actively plan your nutrition. And if you want to learn even more, then keep showing up to this channel, subscribe. And if you want to check out my Ironman Mastery training program, where I speak about this in a much more condensed format, check out the description below. And until next time, I will talk to y'all tomorrow for the next ride, to do even more volume on the bike. Sounds fun. See ya.